Yep.
Yo! What's up, man? What's up? What's up? What's up?
I did it. What's he saying?
I didn't know, man. I didn't know, man. I didn't know, man.
Good,
This, but anyway, before we start off, we're going on sips wise.
I'm back again with another concoction.
Okay, cool. Oh, God. What,
It's a little bit
now,
white wine with some white rum, some grapefruit, soft drink, and a splash of bitters.
that's
I don't know.
that's
Okay, don't knock it.
it's a hard day at work part two. That's what it is.
Yeah. It's a kind of a mental drain kind of thing.
Right. You forget all about Monday. It's all about Tuesday. That
But
is the name of the day.
it's subtle though. It's subtle though. So
all right.
it's some three ladies.
Okay.
For those
Okay.
watching,
All right.
get to your girl. A sweet white wine though, yeah. A sweet white wine.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I don't have all that fancy concoction stuff, right? I have simple stuff here, man. This is literally Johnny Walker and fruit punch. Literally, that's it.
Will you find
That's
Johnny
it.
Walker, man?
At the back of the cupboard, his name is Lita. His name is not even
Maybe that's
uh,
M50.
uh, Naima 750 is literally a small bottle. Now the ones is given on the airplane were a little bigger.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
kind of the samplers kind of thing, yeah. The
yeah. So
375 or
that is
something.
it.
So
Yeah, that's literally what I had. I have nothing, man. I told the independence they take everything, right?
damn.
So
I had to read up on
yeah,
these stocks, boy.
yeah. My stock's low, my stock's low. But anyway, but still,
Salut.
salute. Mm-hmm.
Nah. No. Try that house.
I'll think about it. You see, white
Nah.
wine already lasts in this house too. So
But I'm a point. So when
yeah,
I know you all are wine connoisseurs. So I know we'd always have some, at least a bottle of white wine or red wine or something. So when you get our next bottle of white, just add a little dash of rum, right?
mm,
White rum.
right,
And then top it off with a little grapefruit strips
right.
and put a dash of bitters on top.
All right, cool. I could try it. I'll try it. I'll
Right?
try it.
My people love it, trust me.
I could try it. I could try it and see what's up. Right, but having to say what's up, what
Mm-hmm.
here what going on? This international break, right? It killing me. 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 It killing me.
I mean,
I
it's not the first
don't know
time
what to
that
say.
we've talked about it, but off here, that
Right.
it's too much football and the breaks come at a time that is not really necessary. The leagues now start. It was like what 3-4 weeks into most of the major leagues, and people getting prime up, the team doing good, and bam, international break. And with international
Bam.
break comes international injuries.
Yeah. Understand?
I mean, we had most notably like about 5 or 6 of the Real Madrid midfield. Matter of fact,
It was
the whole of the midfield out.
no man. Say it feel like the whole midfield.
Whole midfield out with Chouameni picking up an injury.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You also had Mendy picking up an injury.
Right. Militao.
Militao picked up an injury late last week. Right?
Right.
That's on Real Madrid's front. But most notably today, we had Martin Odegaard for Arsenal and Norway picking up apparently a very serious ankle injury. So, I mean, these are the kind of things that has usually happen when it is these international break comes along, especially this early one that happens 2 or 3 weeks into the new season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I understand it's a money making venture. I understand it's $1 billion industry, but you won't have a proper product if it is you don't have the top players available to play. Because as I think Stephen A. does say, the best ability is availability. If these players aren't available, well, your product is going to lose interest of the casual fans. So
Mm-hmm.
all these new markets that you want to jump into or that you're getting traction in, if it is these teams don't have their top players available, or 1 minute they're watching the league and then all of a sudden they go into international break and then players out, or players come back and are fatigued and have muscle injuries and the team have to literally rest them because they can't afford to. Players are flying constantly from the from one hemisphere to the next. So I mean, when is enough going to be enough, and when is it actually going to take an vested interest in the quality that you want to put out on the field? And this is going towards FIFA, UEFA, CONMEBOL, CONCACAF, AFCON, Asian, all these markets. Because it's not just Europe alone. I mean, Europe is a key headline for the top leagues, but really and
Mm-hmm.
truly, it applies to everybody. So when is enough going to be enough in terms of having these players play these many games?
So it have two sides to this argument, and I see the trouble part of it, right? Two
Mm,
sides of it is that one, yes, it have plenty games, etc., injuries, all those things, right?
hmm
The second argument is, do international managers really need to call up the same players all the time, right? Even though it's Nations League going on, do they need to call up the same players all the time? Three is, because of the amount of money that is being pumped into football right now,
hmm
the product, which is really the players which make the product,
Right.
has to now go about doing all these things to be able to pay these lads salaries and all these kind of things. So there are many sides to the argument. There was an interview by Gab Marcotti on ESPN. I didn't get to take it in, right?
hmm
But ideally, I know previously his argument would have been that, hey, you're making real money, everything costs a lot. To be able to generate that money back, you have to play games,
Right.
right? And he has a point. I mean, if football wasn't as lucrative as it is now, it would be playing less games, right? Um, but it's hard to say or watch these games and not realize that there are a lot of injuries that are happening. I mean, we mentioned Real Madrid side, but I mean, Barca also had Olmo also came back with an injury. Um, there were several other persons I know that got an injury. I think Tila once got an injury today. Um, so there's a good bit of players, not just La Liga, even Premiership,
hmm
where there's a whole lot of injuries, especially for the top clubs. Now, it may sound how that they're making a lot of money, but 3 weeks vacation after playing on average, if you're a top player and you're
Right.
being called up by a national squad, you're playing on average, I would say 80 something, about 80 something. Let me say about let's say 80 games just to make it a flat figure.
All right.
80 games, right? That includes, as you say, international travel, all those things, right? And it is a lot. And the thing is that being a top player, you also want to play because you want to keep earning that top spot ranking. You know that you want no small guy coming and taking your space, but how to combat this? Because to me, it seems like it's a problem in football's own making, where because of the money you have to play, and because he's a top player, you have to play because you're
hmm
earning big money. So I'm not sure how we could be able to solve it, right? But I do know we had a conversation. I think that there's a good time to bring in this conversation. Is that, would it make sense for football to now implement something like basketball substitutions when it comes to playing the game.
Right.
So I know you have your thoughts, but start off with your thoughts. How you feel about that?
Well, like we discussed recently, I don't see it. I know it'll be hard to implement because any change is hard, but it helps to me in my estimation that it helps one manage injuries and also manage playing players, these top players playing time, especially when it is you're looking at they are going on these international breaks and all these international tournaments, especially
Mhm.
mid-season and stuff as well too, right? Um, and even at the club level and all too, where it is like the top teams who are playing multiple tournaments throughout the season, right? It gives the managers a chance to properly get players rest, one, and two,
Mhm.
not not diminish the value of the product in the sense of I'm keeping this player out for rest and he's up in the stands chilling and fans. Let me just say like you and I, we travel to Europe and or even to the States to see Real Madrid or any of these European clubs play, right? At one point or the other. And that one time that you save your hard-earned money to go and buy a ticket, you're up in the nosebleeds and all. But the idea is that you're there, in the excitement, you're actually in the game, you're actually amongst the fans, all the chanting and everything. They might not understand the language, but you still identify because you're there, because that is your club, let's just say, right? And
Mhm.
you go there and let's say your favorite player on the team is whoever. Let me say, let me pick Man City and say Kevin De Bruyne or even Haaland. But due to their extensive schedule, this particular game, let's just say it's against Burnley or somebody, Pep decides
Right.
to rest that player. Now you come to see your player play. As a fan, you want to.
Mhm.
I mean, yes you understand that they are human and they need rest, but in your mind you're still saying, I spend my money, my 6-1, 7-1, 10-1, whatever the case is, right? Especially when you're talking about conversion, people from different countries. You spend your hard-earned money to one to get to the location and the stadium and stuff. Two, hotel and accommodation, all the others are accommodations and stuff. And then you're talking about actually paying to attend the game, right? Now you want to see a player play. Now, my point is that having a substitution system like how basketball has at the NBA and even EuroLeague, all basketball more or less, where it says players can sub in and out of the game, it 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 gives fans and players and coaches an opportunity to like, I could probably start with my best 11, or I could also start with my second 11. And if things are going left, I bring in players one by one or in a batch to make a change on the game. We also talked about in terms of tactics, where it is like teams who come out to play a defensive tactic. Let me just say it's a aggregate score and you happen to be the underdog, but you're up. You get that one goal and you decide, well, we park in the bus. Instead of the usual, what does normally happen is like, the underdog park the bus and they do good for 60, 70 minutes, maybe even 80, 89 minutes. But then in the dregs of the game, players get tired. You only have but so many substitutions you can make to
Mhm.
to cause an impact or even maintain whatever it is tactic that you're trying to accomplish. It gives you that opportunity to constantly rotate, and maybe not constantly in the sense of like how basketball does it on the whole offense defense thing, but in a way that I could bring in players every 15 minutes or every the cases to keep them fresh.
Mhm.
In that instance, for argument's sake. So I think it's a good idea to probably explore, especially when it is you're talking about player safety that they like to highlight ever so often, but don't really consider. So I think is it's something to consider at least.
I mean, I always into trying new things, as in trying new things to see if the sport could be better. However, I don't see basketball types substitutions being good for football. A couple of things. One thing I definitely hate, and you're more basketball person than I am. I
Yeah,
distinctly hate when the games have a flow and then there's a timeout, and it's like, well, I mean, when you're in the stadium watching the game, is not as bad. Because
correct.
have stuff going on to entertain you and stuff like that. When I'm home and I watch it on TV and all
And then
them ads
commercials
come
just
out,
coming back to back
yeah,
to back.
and they're like, oh, I just want to go back to the game, right? So that's one. So it makes it very stop start. And I think
Mhm.
football, that's one thing I like about football, is it's constant. When you stop, when you really stop, it's halftime. Now, yes, they will have games that have plenty fouls and stuff like that, but that's
Right.
part of the game, right? But it's very stop start, especially coming down to the end of a basketball game, like them last two
Well,
minutes.
it's to be fair, it's more tactical than anything else.
It's frustrating, bro. Frustrating. I remember it had sometime we were watching some game. I think it was a playoff game. I think the last 2 minutes of that game took about half an hour. It was like,
Yeah, yeah,
God,
yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
go to bed. It's taking long.
Between
Oh God.
fouls, the stoppage for replay and all these kind of things. I think I remember that game
Yeah.
you was talking about.
Yeah, that took way too long. So I don't think we'll benefit from that. I also think that there's two other things outside of the one point that I just raised. One, football is also endurance. It is more of endurance than football and basketball. Not saying that basketballers don't have endurance, but
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
different type of endurance. So when you play in for that 45 minutes, players have to learn how to be able to control or be able to hold on to that endurance. So you will never see a football game, maybe very few, or maybe Liverpool is the one example I could use, that is always going to be constant pressure all the time, all the time, all the time. I want you to
Mhm.
realize about those teams that after a while they break down because your body can't sustain that
Sustain.
anymore,
Yeah.
right? Somebody who suffered from that a lot was like Ozil. Ozil was a great player, but by the 60th minute, homie gassed, right?
Curtains.
Eyes,
Wrap up.
eyes bulging, all kind of thing, right?
Wrap it up. Wrap it
So,
up.
yeah, wrap it up. Substitution, substitution, right? So, I think that works, and also I like having to make those tactical changes on the fly
Hmm.
is what I like about the game. I think having someone who could stop the game, make so many changes back and forth, um, kind of kills it as a spectacle for me. Because it's always great to see a team, and I'm not talking about teams who just want to come back and defensive. There are teams who will play defensive for a certain amount of time, attack for a certain amount of time. Then it's a possession game after a while, and I like to see those tactics made on the fly.
Right.
So to me, those are the 3 points that I really think that why that type of substitutions like what basketball have kind of not work with football.
I get the constant breaks in the game and stuff. But what if they do it like now you have the unlimited amount of subs and stuff, but let's just say they make the subs like how they do it in hockey. Now I know you might be already familiar, but it's kind of like
Mhm.
a running run off basically. So is either you get on or you get on the field before the play develops, or you're a man or too short, or whatever the case is. So like where as it stands with football now, you have to wait for a certain stoppage, right?
Mm.
For the referee to be like, all right, make this sub, whatever the case is. What if it's like, all right, because they communicated anyway, taken on the field, like, yo, let me say man for Modric. So they don't communicate on the sideline, man for Modric. Let me just say, I had her coming on. You already know, well, Modric coming off thing. He could just simply walk off on one side of the field Ada comes on and there's no break in the play, right? But there still needs to be a certain time when it could be done. Cause I think that's the same case in hockey anyway. Take it. It's not like just randomly a man run on the ice and next man come off. No, it's certain breaks in the game you can do it. So I think that's because it happens the same way right now with regular subs in football. I mean, they extended it for the most part. Is what 5 subs now, as opposed to back in the day
Yeah,
when it
it's
was just.
fine. Yeah.
So I mean, if it's a matter of like run in, run off subs, where it says you just come off on some end of the touch, sideline, goal line, whatever the case is, and the next man just run on one time. Maybe that could be a viable solution.
I mean, maybe, but the reason I was laughing when they start off with that is because a football field real big now. So
I know.
imagine a play developing and a man like Modric had to run off. And let me say put on somebody like a Camavinga or something. And he has to run on and then run into a defensive position, right? Was like a real sprinting for home,
It happens though. It happens during games though. I mean, less than more, but still. Less than more, but still.
Just knees to chest. Just running down field. Okay, I mean, it's a funny thought, right? I don't know if it would. I mean, I would like to see it maybe something other than a FET match. Maybe
Like
maybe
a
just
preseason something.
Well, on preseason, you have unlimited subs, right? Because you could sub your whole 11 if you want to. When it
Right,
comes to
true.
a friend.
So I mean, that's
right?
a good way of testing it in a sense.
I guess. I mean,
Although preseason doesn't really carry the kind of it's what I'm looking for. Kind of value that let's just say an international friendly just might.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's
again, what
still
you're
a way of
saying.
testing. I mean, you had to do something to keep the product fresh and viable because if you have a situation where top players are constantly going down and for prolonged periods, not just like, all right, a man come out in this game and he don't play the next 2 games. Usually, these injuries are between 3 to 8 weeks. At best, they might say 2 weeks.
Right.
And that is just from preliminary evaluations. So if you have a constant issue where it is these top players are always down or out, you need to do something to try and help keep them healthy.
No, I understand that there needs to be something that needs to be done for sure. If basketball substitutions is the solution, I'm not sure, but definitely something needs to be done to keep the product, as they say, fresh. To have the best players available most of the time, instead of just a point in time. And most persons don't even like the international breaks because I think it was Harry Redknapp at an interview. He was saying that's how he was watching England play some side where they say that's how the guy, the goalkeeper, does work as an accountant as part of the day. And he was like, where's this? I ready to watch your premiership. I'm not ready. I don't want to see this. Right? All you say all Englanders do is the real good qualifiers and then don't win nothing. So then what's the purpose of me doing this international break, right?
True.
I mean, I
just getting men hopes up for nothing.
Yeah, when hope's going up front. So I get it. I can. Something needs to be done. I'm not sure, as I say, I'm not sure if the basketball substitutions is the way forward, but there needs to be some way of lessening the games and the amount of injuries, or not even lessening games, maybe You see, they can't even lengthen the season because then they fight with internationals at the end, and now there are even more international tournaments. So maybe, maybe unfortunately, some people might have to do early retirement. Be like, yo, after a while, by 28, yeah, nah, man.
I
Because
guess
one of the things that made Cruz last for so long and was still viable was that he actually left the
international
German squad,
duties.
yeah, from an early age. So
Well,
he
I
was
mean, to be
chilling.
fair, to he accomplished more than a lot at an early age internationally as well. Well,
True, true.
throughout his career, as a matter of fact, because on club level and also at at the international level, because he won a World Cup very early in his career. He was part of that World Cup team.
Mm-hmm.
He won the Champions League
Several
numerous
times.
times as well. So I mean, Cruz is a kind of a unicorn, but I get what
Well,
you're saying.
well, but not really though, because you actually seen it a bit. Varane was one that was a shock when he retired early from international football, but
Right?
he had a lot. He has a lot of injuries, so
He
it's
has
kind
an
of
he has an injury history.
yeah. He has a bad injury history, so I don't know if that would be the norm. Is that a lot of people love paying for the countries too, so it is
Yeah,
really a very tight rope to to um, to balance, and it's also difficult for the teams who actually pay in these players to then lose these players and not have them available. And then when they are available, they get called up, and you really can't stop them from going to the international
right.
call-ups because
Yeah,
I think there's some rule or policy against such things unless they're injured or not available. That's the only times they can't get called up. So it's not like the clubs can say, nah, I paying them salaries outside with you. They might be able to do it for smaller countries, but they definitely can't do them for
I think
Spain, France,
I think they could do, no,
Germany.
I think they could do it for like tournaments if it clashing in terms of certain timelines for countries like how these some a lot of these players don't get releases for AFCON,
Right, right.
right? So I think those tournaments, those African Cup of Nations, the Asian not leagues, but the Asian continent, they have tournaments and everybody fighting for position or a place for prime spots to host their tournaments.
Hmm.
Africa and Asia tend to lose out when it comes to that, as opposed to Europe and also South America, because they basically rule the summers unless it's a World Cup year. So I think I think if it clashes in terms of major tournaments that the club is in, that is where they have a say, I guess. I'm not sure the exact ruling really.
All right, cool. I mean, we'll see how it goes in the future. I know that this will be a topic of discussion for quite some time again because this thing
Hmm.
gone stop right now. So ideally, we'll see how it goes. But
Yep.
as we touch on basketball,
Right.
right? The new 2K is out, NBA 2K25. I have it. Now, again, as I always say when these things come out, I am not the NBA basketball um,
Fanatic.
general that you are, right? So
that's a
my
big that's a big word.
right, right, I am not as much. You know what I mean? I watch it, I enjoy it, I understand the game, but not to the level that you have,
Right.
right? So things like 2K and stuff is kind of gets me into a little bit more than I'd be exposed to if I just do it on my own, right?
All right.
Now, again, I've played 2K from where's the first 2K I bought? It was some early one. It could be either 22 or 21, one in the other,
Mm.
right? Right, on PS4. Right.
Right.
On PS5, bought 25. Um, for me personally, as a gamer, I really not trying to fire up 2K to go and run around a city. I'm being real serious. I'd really not getting that GTA vibes from NBA
Mhm.
2K. I don't know why I need to go through all of this. Why? I don't want to run from when I'm playing my NBA games to go and run across the court to go and play. They're like these bosses
Blacked
in
up.
it's not blacked up. They have like different courts, and some of the courts have like a single player where you play like bosses, and then
Okay.
those they come onto your street team, and then you go and play the others and all that kind of drama,
Oh, so
right?
you're
Well,
basically building a street cred in a sense.
correct, right. And while it's fun, I'm not saying this isn't fun, but then now I then have to go from there and run across the swags to go and see if I could get some clothing, which costs real money, by the way, right? Right? And
Forget
then
them. Forget VC. It's actual real money you
it's
spend.
actually, yeah, because you're taking your money to buy the VC that buying this clothes, right? So yeah, it's real money you're spending, right? To then go and run across to your my court, because my court is back. It wasn't there, I think, the last two games or the last game or whatever. To run across
Right.
to my court, to then talk to your manager, to then get to about your shoe deal or whatever the case may be, right? To then go back and then run back across to another court if it is that you play, if you play the online versus and stuff like that, just like blacktop and stuff.
Hmm.
Then you have to run across to another court to do that, right? Now, to be fair, the city isn't as big as it was in the other games that I have seen.
Right.
But still, bro, I mean, let
It's
me
a
just
lot of
talk
running.
about
It's a lot of
playing.
wasteful time
There's a lot of
doing
useful
nothing.
time. Just
I mean,
running. As
maybe you gotta get like the skateboard or the bicycle. Them things still around. I know that was a thing
I
in the
think I
previous
see
years and that.
I see some balance board, the like a that one
Hoverboard
wheel
kind of thing.
balance board kind of thing that you could use, but still, bro, I come to play basketball. Like seriously, I came to come and play basketball. If I
Right.
ain't doing anything basketball related, to me, it kind of wastes my time.
Mhm.
So you know, I'm more on the FIFA than the NBA 2K. When it comes to FIFA, to play a game, menu, play game, play the game, done, train, play the next game. I don't need to do anything else, right? And if the training is actual training, or if I could just sim it, cool.
Similar,
But I
right?
get to the next game, right? But 2K, oh my gosh, yeah. And now you have quests. I was like, that why need this is not an RPG. Why am I having quests in a basketball game? Right? I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. It's not my thing. I will still
Mm.
play it because it's okay. I wouldn't rate it that highly because of those things. I also find the story isn't that great. I mean,
They have a storyline now again.
it have a storyline, but it's kind of
Watered
it's
down.
like Billiard Dynasty. So it's kind of like it's almost like the same OJ storyline, but with always an actual one character being the part of the dynasty.
Okay.
So it's you kind of being the main star within that dynasty that's supposed to go and like beat Jordan, eventually beat Jordan's record of 6 rings, basically
Okay.
with the same team,
Okay.
right? But it's frustrating to me. And next thing that I really like about 2K is I find 2K have a real delay. I don't know why. I maybe I just accustomed to more snappier games, but sometimes they hit right, especially in this city and all these places that they already hit right, and you whistle like this, and then like it feels like 2 seconds later, then they turn and then they move. It's like, yo, this why is this so non-responsive? Yeah, yeah. Even in the game,
Mm.
sometimes you do like a dribble, and they say, "Oh, yeah, as soon as I come out of the dribble, I want to hit the shot," and you feel like you press the shot, and like the whole animation needs to play before the shot happens. No, so you hold that shot for like for forever, right? So by the time you let go and the shot actually happens, it might be you left off too early or too late because you're like, damn, a press shoot though. Why the shoot animation?
Why the lag? Why all the lag?
Yeah, why all the lag? So that is it. It could be that I'm just not good at it, and that is why I have these opinions. And hey, that's cool if that's the case, but I just find it ain't doing nothing for me. It ain't doing nothing for me. I'm not excited.
All right. Well, I haven't played 2K in. I think the last 2K I had was probably in 24. It's probably like 21 or 22. I can't remember exactly which one it was, right? But my whole thing is that the what I liked about 2K was the storylines. Like they had the Spike Lee one. Um, they had another one where I think the last one was really like the DJ one, which was kind of there, but they generally had a decent storyline where it is like, all right, they try to give you like the player coming out of college or the player coming
Mm.
up in the street circuit and trying to make it into the NBA. The one who gets sent overseas comes back, end up in the G League and all these kind of things. Their storylines were granted it was just for like one season, but it was the intrigue for you to play, right? Since it took that out, I lost interest because generally the gameplay was the same every year, right? There really wasn't much difference um, until they move here from they did this city thing, and instead of like I think there was one where it is like you would play and you get an apartment, and then you could upgrade that apartment later on, whatever the case is, and then they move it and play you play on a boat, and then I think it was last year they had the city of the cases and thing, right? Now I get they're trying to do things differently and also create a different feel because it's very hard to write a storyline about a basketball player every year for a game. There's only so much storylines you can go into without touching on some points that you really shouldn't be touching on, right? So to that I understand what they were trying to do. To me, it didn't make sense because I just wanted to play the game. You know, it reached a point where it's like I would actually forget the my player and play like my GM or my league or some kind of thing like that now. Just for a difference because it actually puts you in a different seat than actually being the player. Everybody wants to be the player. Everybody wants to be Jordan. Everybody wants to be LeBron. Everybody wants to be Kobe. But who wants to be the GM that, or who wants to be the GM? Yeah, I said that just for you. But yeah, who wants to be the GM that actually makes the moves, make the trades? Because everybody likes to be like, boy, Lakers should trade for DeRozan and Westbrook and the old dream team, or Warriors should get rid of Draymond and everybody and get Stephen Clay and bring on LeBron and KD and all these fantasy ideas you have in your head. Now you get the opportunity to actually do that because you are the GM, you are in the league. So I mean, those things were good. They've always been like a kind of a hidden gem in the game, but that really wasn't sold much because my player was it because my player had the storyline and everything. But to me personally, when it is the storyline came out and everything went left, I took more interest in the GM side because it make you understand like how trades happen or why certain trades can't happen and all the intricacies of behind the scenes that people don't really pay much attention to. Like real students of basketball will really pay attention to the cap is this. Yeah, you're paying 3 players max deals. You can't fill out the rest of the roster with quality players. Right? That's why the mid-level and all these other things coming. You get to really learn and understand the reason for those features, I guess, if you want to call it that, in an NBA team or in the league, right? So I would say for a person like, especially like yourself, who you are a fan of the game, but you're not like a fanatic or enthusiast rather, that you forget the my player. My player is always the my player is what the my player would be. You are the player. You start off. You had a grind, and You eventually be the star after like probably within your somewhere within your first year, right? Midway through the first year of the season. So what go through the GM or the my league. I'm not sure what they're calling it now because as I say, I haven't played it in a couple of years. So um and actually do that to get a better understanding of the the game, the league, and teams holistically, right? So your problem with you're doing a move and the man 2, 3, 4 seconds off. That I think that is from from previous years. 2K trottles you down in the beginning, trottles you down in the sense of they put you like in the amateur kind of category. There used to be like these are different skill levels, where it was like beginner, amateur, star, superstar, something like that, all star, some kind of shit like that, right?
Mhm.
So what they do, like was as you are a rookie, and they throttle you down to that amateur status, let's just say, and eventually as you progress, you more go into the category where is that um things come a little more easier. So it's their way of being like, all right, you it was like, all right, play it this way. When they had like the different tiers, like when you had you playing in college, you had you playing in the G League, they would just say it was a superstar. They give you the superstar status in college. So you're doing stuff and you're like, yeah, ting. As you hit the league, you're dragging ass.
Ah, getting cooked. Getting
You get
cooked.
cut. Right? So
Yeah,
the idea is that you're not as good as you think you are. Which if you hear some players talk, like on the pods and stuff, it's like, yeah, that's it. You know, like you come from being the star in your city or your high school or whatever the case is, and then you come to the AAU circuit or even self the McDonald's All American, and you find yourself, whoo, these guys are a little better than me. I thought I was good, but you know, the next rank guy in my position is a lot better than me. So it gives you that, it's supposed to give you that motivation to be better, get better, you know, go through the grind and actually work for it as you want. But at the end of the day, it's still a game, you know. So people who actually would like the game would go through the grind and you know it's or they spend the VC to boost their player as much as possible until they reach 99 or whatever the case is. But 2K for me hasn't been that exciting since it took out that storyline element. So,
Mhm.
and now that you say it's not really much difference now, it's not motivation for me to go back to it.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't feel much different. It doesn't feel as smooth as I would expect it to be. As I say, I'm not a basketball aficionado, but I still expect a certain level of smoothness that I find I don't get. And as I say, I used to like the storylines too, but yeah, the storyline kind of basic at this point. And as I say, running wrong, have to talk to this one and that one. Is like, yo, GTA 6 coming out sometime soon. I don't.
Only side question really necessary.
Yeah, I ain't really need all of this right now. When GTA 6 come out, I could do all those things. Not for NBA 2K. All right, not for NBA 2K.
Yeah, because I mean,
So
at the end of the day, it's a sports game, right? And you want to feel as though like, 'cause you either creating a my players that you're creating yourself that you want to be as an NBA player,
mhm,
right? So let's just say you are a 5'9" guy, you want to create a 6'6", 210 pounds shooting guard, small forward, whatever the case is, that's dunking on everybody. Or in today's modern game, you're shooting out everybody. Is the same 5'9" player, but you're shooting out
mhm.
everybody like Steph Curry. You're walking up half court like Dame, knocking it down. Right? So you basically creating the guys you watch for 82 games plus, and you putting yourself in their shoes. You know, but people do fail to realize what being in those guys' shoes entails. And we've always said to be the greatest, people don't see the work that they put in off camera, off the field, right? So the game tries to give you that, but they don't tie you to it for too long. So eventually it's like, you can skip through and you reach where it is you want to reach. Or you have the option of spending your money, which works out good for the game developers and makers.
Yeah, because when I get into VC and thing, when they done not game, you like, nah, why get so with a VC though? We're going to it, right?
But they make it
But
some
yeah,
good. And they get eventually, like after 5 or 10 games, you get some kind of sponsorship deal, which gives you a little more VC. It might be much, but gives you more. The incentives go up and stuff. More endorsements come in. I mean, there are ways. Well, from what I remember, I don't know what it is now. I have stopped paying attention to all the updates that come with 2K every year because it's like, nah, it's alright. I could skip it.
yeah, because Chris Smoot I watched Chris Smoot play it a little bit, right? One said it cost 190,000 VC to get the character from 60 to 85 because they can't cross 85 unless you do certain things, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Right. So 190,000
I
VC,
used to be
right?
like 120 something though.
Well, right. And by the time you see what I remember is my little shooting status, a little 1 point. Yeah, 1,000 some VC going there like that.
Yeah.
Yo. Yeah, it ridiculous, ridiculous. But I'll still play it. I'll still play
Mhm.
it till the new FIFA comes out. And I
I
should
think
say
yeah.
till
I know he's not
you heard.
NFL man too much, but look into Madden. Madden have a nice vibe to it.
I just watch same with Chris Smoot as watch Chris Smoot play it, but I just stopped watching those guys not because the content isn't good, but
Mm.
I want to see somebody who's lose every once in a while too. You know, it's yeah, no, it is. Understand what I mean? Is when
Yeah.
you see
Those guys are
somebody playing
professional
a
gamers.
game, yeah, that man, that's Chris Wood. It introduced him out of nowhere. I was just like, all right, yo,
Splash.
yeah, it's like, yo. Not only that, you have the game and you feel like a shit on, right? But worse yet now is like, you want to see some struggle. You want to see someone get better at it. We had a tennis game that came out not too long ago. I can't remember his name, and actually have it.
Mm.
And I had this guy I was watching playing it, and he was struggling. And I used to watch those games. Also, his streams were long. It was like a one change, right? But because you see him struggling and you see him mistakes and those things, you're like, yeah, you could
It's
take it
relatable.
in because it's like it came like almost like a real match that you're watching, like a real tennis match,
Oh,
because you
okay.
see all the mistakes, all the serves, all the luck shots, all these things, and
Right.
you're like, yeah, it's
He can master
exciting to watch.
the game, little key points where because they could cheat and
Nah,
stuff. Right.
nah. So that's what made it real entertaining to watch that guy compared to, as I say, Chris Smoot, who by the time he get the game, and
He
this
have a
guy
player
too.
in the game already because they
Right.
face them already and stuff. So they
Right, Shakedown too. Shakedown is like a character in the game already.
right.
It's like it's literally talk to him. So when you watch these guys play, it's like you're not inspiring, you know. I mean, you're good, but I can't sit down and watch this for too long. It's only so much years I could watch it dominating. So I don't mind. I think I'll try out the Madden at one point. Plus, I mean, I might show my age here, but small thing. I actually used to play Madden back in the Genesis days. So
Hey, me too, bro. Me too.
right, right in the Genesis
That
days. So
I
yeah,
actually where my love for Madden and the NFL actually came in. So I would cheer now.
yeah. So I ain't too far back. I ain't too far back.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, no, a real far back, but yeah. But I played it before. I played it before.
I think I
Right?
had Madden for last year. I think I did demo last year. And that demo was good dog. It's vibes.
Hey, it does look like it's nice. Once you understand NFL to a point, it is me vibes. I mean, I might know
Yeah,
all the positions and stuff, but I understand the players. So
yeah,
I'll take a shot at.
Yeah, there's no way like all the hot routes and stuff are.
Mm.
And on the defense, they would struggle. I'm not gonna lie, but it's a vibe though. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. As I say, once you understand the game, like the actual game, NFL football, you it 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 should make it a bit easier to play
Mm.
the Madden itself.
All right, cool, no problem. So I see we have a couple of minutes remaining. Have any other topic you want to touch on before we look to close off?
Um, I know you wanted to talk about the comments from Danny Carvajal with the racism and thing, but upon further investigation, we realized that it really wasn't nothing. It's just him doing what he's supposed to do in terms of defending his teammates and also his country. Because
Mm-hmm.
I ain't there, that is your brother in arms, but I'm talking about him talk about Vinicius.
Mm-hmm.
Right, brother in arms, and he goes through what he goes through in Spain, especially as for lack of a better term, an immigrant. He's not from the country, right?
Right.
So, but you also can't be blind to the not say blind, but you can't just shit on your own country in the sense of everybody know their country has issues. Everybody from wherever in the world could tell you what their country's issues are. But your patriotism comes in at some point or the other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm think, especially for him as somebody who represents his country at an international level for so many years, and has even worn the captain's armband for his country, he had to step in and be like, "It's not the whole country is not racist," and he's right. The whole country is not racist. And if you went to Spain, I went to Spain. We as black English speaking Caribbean men went to Spain, and I don't know about you, but I don't remember, even if I did, I don't remember feeling any or getting any um, side eyes or racist connotations or anything of the sort. To me, everybody was welcoming enough.
Mm-hmm.
Those who spoke English or a bit of English tried to communicate. And those who couldn't, it was just like no habla, right? But to me, I didn't. Anywhere I went, I didn't feel unsafe. So I agree with him in the sense of he's picking up for his teammates on one hand. On the other hand, he has to come out and say, "Yo, don't let the few idiots um, make you paint or get a wrong idea of the country in a sense. Yes, there is racism. Yes, there has been racism throughout the years, but not everybody is like that.
I mean, I get it. As I say, as you said, when we look into it a bit more, it wasn't as bad as it initially sounded
Right.
when Carvajal said his comments. Because Vinny's comment was that if Spain can curb their racism, then they shouldn't have the next World Cup there, because Spain is supposed to be carded to have the World Cup
20.
after USA. Yeah, at there. So I get it. But I do still feel that Spain and a lot of people around Spanish football don't understand what Vini is going through. So let me give you a perfect example as into what I mean. Antoine Griezmann,
Mm-hmm.
right? Previously, maybe about 3 years ago, when he scored a goal, he used to do the Fortnite dances.
Right.
That was considered to be real cool. Hey man, doing Fortnite dances, something real cool. When Vinny was dancing when he scored, that was provocation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And these were Brazilian dances. This was no game where you're holding up a L and doing your shippiness. It was none of that. It was
You train up your
actual,
foot or what kind of shippiness.
yeah, it was actual Brazilian dance. I don't know what's the actual name of the dance on that I'm
I think it
trying to
was
do.
samba. Samba, yeah. I think it's samba.
It could be samba, right? So yeah, so there was actually Brazilian dances and that was provocation, right? No, I'm not defending Vinny in terms of Vinny doesn't say nothing on the field. Yes, he says a lot. but it
Right.
doesn't constitute the amount of racism he gets. And having me as a black Afro Trinidadian, seeing
Mhm.
someone else of the same ilk, yes, he may not be Trinidadian, but I don't think it's nice. Well, it's not good in any way to see a blob doll with your jersey on it hanging from one of the main streets in within
To
Spain.
the
I don't
stadium.
think. Yeah, and sometimes there are even times where he's not even there, as in there's no game going on. I think this was during the Euros and when Copa America and stuff was going on. And Vinny wasn't there, and you were hearing chants of Vinny's a monkey, Vinny's a monkey. And it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I don't think that people understand how much that could affect someone. And everything is all provocation, and worse yet, the media does portray it because there are a lot of things that the media will show, but they only show piece of it when Vinny's involved. I remember, I think it was against Valencia when I think Vini pushed someone or he pushed them in their face or something like that. And that's all the media was showing. But if you
Mm.
watch the game, right, so they actually had Vini in a chokehold on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? And it's like, so what happened to that part of the story? You only given part of the story, right?
Hmm.
So I just think that is very unfortunate. As you said, when we went to Spain, we didn't have any issues at all. But I think it's very unfortunate that a player of that style and that pedigree, especially when you don't see those type of players again in this recent time, has to go
Very,
through
very
something
rare.
like that, right? Yeah, has to go through something like that. And then people will always be like, "But have other black players on the team, how come they don't get it?" Because they are not the star players.
Correct.
They're not the star players, right?
Correct.
So
And
it
and
just
and
was
that's not to
unfortunate.
say that they don't go through the same thing or in some
True,
way or some fashion or whatever the case is, you know. So it's
true.
like and it's hard too because you have you have in terms of when we're speaking from Madrid because of Vinny we talking about, right? You have two sides of Madrid, the white side and the red and white or the red and blue side, which is Atletico,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And
It's a
you see
more than
one,
that to it, but
it's a most
it's
yeah,
a
but
it's
I'm
a
just going for the
Getafe
two,
and Rayo and all them
yeah, but I'm
madness
just
to
going for the
it.
two major players, right? Because especially when it is they go to Atletico, they you see a lot of that as well too, in the sense
Mm-hmm.
of at home in Madrid, in the white side of Madrid, you see he's loved by so many kids, elderly, females, males. You know, the fans are so enamored with him. And then it's like you just cross the street, literally, and people hate him. Like hate, they don't even know the young guy, and they hate him all because he is an exceptional talent. And worse yet, he just plays for the rival club. But still, all he's doing is what he loves, one, and what he's being paid to do, which is score goals and frustrate your team's defense. So I mean, it's sad to see that it's kind of hard to say it's sad to see because it's become so commonplace now, especially in this social media era. Whereas that I things because I growing up, I never knew Spain was like that. Now we being from the Caribbean know about of what happened in terms of our history and Europeans. But to say, well, you see so many people of color playing in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and people of color walking around and existing in Europe, right? All these different migration eras, all these mixed cultures, all these mixed people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you would now So not having much information in terms of what's going on outside in the world, because the world was a bit further than it is now. And you wouldn't think that let me just say you watching a game and you seeing guys like Sadov, guys like Edgar Davids playing in Italy and stuff, thinking, black men could make it out there. You know? It's like, yo, you seeing like as a young person who likes a sport, you saying, well, cool. I see people I can identify with, right? Pele. Well, I don't really see much of Pele play, but still you know the history of Pele. I think these guys played in all these European countries and all these top teams in these leagues and stuff. You thinking, well, hey, I have a chance I could go out there and play. But I don't know what this fellas and I went through. And now where information is a lot quicker to get, a lot easier to get as well too. You understand that the ills of all these of all these countries that seem so grand and glamorous prior to knowing these things. So it's sad that this is the world we live in, but I guess it is what it is.
It is what it is, man. And it's quite unfortunate. I mean, I want to go back to Spain. I want to see the new Bernabeu, right? I want to see if I can make it down to Barcelona to see the Barcelona side of things. I didn't get the opportunity last time.
Right.
So I'm still gonna try it. I'm not. So I think I do agree, as you say, with Danny Carver saying that's not Spain is not a racist country, but I still do think that LFP doesn't do enough when it comes to to those racist chants and stuff like that. I think there's supposed to be more harsh punishments when it comes to those things because it's actually ruining the game. And the thing that's really funny is that the same clubs that you see this with, right, have players of color too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
You don't like your own players?
it's not really making any kind of sense, right? So we'll see how it goes. Well, we're out of time there now, so if anything, we will wrap it up.
Right.
Right, right.
Whoever we can get out this wrong, you'll get out in the next episode. So
Yeah. Well, football will be back. I know NFL is going on. We didn't get a touch on
yeah,
any NFL.
NFL started Thursday. Chiefs
Yeah,
and let's get this out quick. Chiefs and Ravens was a good game.
right.
Lamar did what he usually does when it is he plays the Chiefs. He gets a bit too excited and makes mistakes late in the game. They had a chance to win. Actually, it was called a touchdown, but the guy's feet, he had a KD moment. Feet was on the line.
Yeah.
But it was a good game. There were games throughout the weekend. There were games yesterday. There were games tonight too, Monday. So yeah, things are getting back on stream. I think NBA preseason should be sometime very soon. Should be probably towards the end of this month, I believe.
One thing though that we should take a look at, and we haven't commented on at all, is actually what's going on in WNBA actually with Caitlin Clark and stuff like that. We haven't touched on that at all. So
Yeah, so this girl is out for the rest of the season though. Angel Reese.
oh, she off the rest of the season?
Yeah, and she actually broke her record recently. I think the most rebounds by a rookie, I believe, which is very impressive. I mean, actually for both her and Caitlin, it's a good thing that's happening with the WNBA because they needed something to inject some
To bring in fans, to bring in people.
right
Yeah.
to inject some interest, right? And the thing is, they have been complaining so much, but people need to understand. We'll talk about this next time too, because we are running out of time. People need to understand that the NBA was not overnight success. The NBA was actually going to fool up again.
Right. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, it's good what's happening with the WNBA. I hope they build on this momentum and traction that they're getting now, especially with these two players, and things happening around these two players. So I want to see women's basketball be a big thing and not just a boy them get on them, or that is just a novelty or some kind of thing. Because
Mm-hmm.
WNBA been around a while. It's been around for 20 some years, I believe. So I would like to see they take that next step in terms of fan appeal. And I think for the past few years they have been growing in terms of that. So,
Right.
but we should touch on it a bit more, and we should get into that next time.
Cool. Well, yeah, man. So you close it off here, and well, if anything, next week again. So peace.
Peace.